the best for the people of Lagos.
All right.
So what I mean by that is, when we are accredited, it shows that our products and services have met international standards.
Okay.
And that is what is, best for Lagosians.
Okay.
So that's why it's important. It's important because it's the evidence of quality.
All right.
It's easy to claim that, well, what we're doing is okay, we are giving you the best products, we are giving quality services and quality products. But when there's no evidence for it, it's just a claim.
Okay.
Because you're going to be accredited by external bodies that have the competence and the capacity to accredit you and say that whatever product you're giving and the services you're rendering meets global standards.
Okay.
So those are some of the reasons why accreditation is important.
All right. So let's quickly go through some of the major requirements that are involved in obtaining accreditation for a blood service. What are those requirements? Do you have to have trainings done? Do you have to have a certain certification? Do you have to have a certain number of staff? Do you have to have a certain building erected? So let's know some of those major requirements involved in obtaining certification.
Okay, thank you very much. Accreditation, certification is a very rigorous thing.
Okay.
And like I said last week, it's supposed to take you to a level whereby you maintain. That means you reach a level and then you keep going higher.
Okay.
I talked about quality improvement last week.
Yes.
And so for you to reach that level, there are basic and major important requirements that you have to meet. And in this case now, because we're talking about blood service, blood is a life-saving product and blood products are life-saving items that people require to stay alive, to maintain a proper lifestyle and things like that. So there are stringent requirements that the blood service has to meet.
Okay.
For them to be recognized as an accredited body.
Okay.
In this case now, there are two major categories that we can put these requirements. First are the quality requirements.
Okay.
Under these quality requirements, we have 12 elements.
12?
Yes, and each has to be met.
Okay.
The second one that we can put, even though it's related, we call them technical requirements.
All right.
Now, this technical requirement, because it's a blood service, what we basically do, what the organization exists for, is to collect blood, process it, and give it out to those that need it.
Yes.
Either individuals or hospitals or other blood services.
Okay.
So those are technical things.
Okay.
And everything is interconnected. But
All right.
for the purpose of accreditation and clarity, we need to break it down. So we're looking at the quality requirements, and then we're looking at the technical requirements. Let me start with the technical requirements.
All right.
For the technical requirements, there are 9 elements under it. It starts with blood donor management.
Okay.
How do we get our donors?
Okay.
Last month, we showcased how we get part of how we get our donors with the NGOs.
Yes.
Even this particular program is one of the ways to which we get our donors.
Yes.
And I also want to take a break now and say that please, Lagosians, go out and donate blood voluntarily.
Okay.
Go to the nearest general hospital, come to the LSBTS center in Bagada General Hospital, go to the donor units, the LSBTS center in General Hospital Lagos, go to the donation center in Lasuth and donate blood.
As a deviation, what if people are thinking, or somebody is thinking out there, that how can I donate blood in this day and time that there's no food, I have not eaten enough, then I'll go and donate blood again and faint?
Well, it is said that okay, let me use an analogy.
Okay.
If I have 1,000 naira and I give 100 naira out of it, and you have 10,000 naira and you give 100 naira out of it, who's done the bigger charity?
I'll say the person that had 1,000 and gave 100.
Yes. because I'm making more sacrifice. I'm giving out
Yes.
10% of
Yes.
my income or my
Yes,
money,
true.
and the other person has only given out maybe 0.01% of our money.
Yes.
So let's also look at it from that way. Yes, the economy is tough now. Everything is a little bit on the rough side. But the people that need this blood are also part of us.
True.
So we're helping ourselves. It's not, the blood is not taken out. It's used within Lagos. So we're helping ourselves. So let us not look at the state of the economy and things like that. Yes, before the blood is collected from you, we're going to ensure that you have enough to give and you're healthy enough to donate blood.
Okay.
So no harm is going to come to you from donating blood.
Okay.
So please, Lagosians, go out there, donate blood, give blood, and save lives. The good thing about donation is that it's always better for the blood to be available before it's needed.
Okay.
Because a lot of times it's needed during emergencies.
Yes.
And that is when you have to start collecting. You have to, and because of the process, is part of which I'm going to mention now. It takes time. You're going to look for the donors. You're going to bleed them. You're going to transport and store the blood. You're going to test it. You're going to make components out of it. You know, you're now going to do a cross match or a compatibility test on it.
Okay.
All these things take
So
time.
usually, how long does it take? 3 days to 1 week, or how long?
Well,
From
it's
bleeding to transfusion.
well, it's usually from bleeding to being ready to be issued for
Yeah.
transfusion. We try to have a turnaround time of at most 24 hours.
Okay. Oh well, that's good.
At
That's
most
enough. At
24
most.
hours.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But a lot of times, most times it's even shorter than that, maybe like 12 hours or 14 hours.
All right.
Because we know the importance
It's an
of
emergency.
availability
Yes.
of blood. So I mentioned part of what I wanted to say with
Yes,
regards
yes.
to, you know, the technical
Technical,
aspects,
true.
the technical requirements. Now, all these things are part of what we do ordinarily, but you have to meet the quality requirements in each of this level. How do you source for your donors? What kind of donors do you get? Do you pay people to donate blood? Once you pay people to donate blood, you're not going to meet international standards. The international standard recommended by WHO is voluntary, non-remunerated donors, unpaid donors.
But come to think of it, if at first you make that payment to get people in and then they become a part of the community and eventually they're like, okay, you don't need to pay me anymore to do this. I can always come donate
That's
and do
not
it
going to
myself.
happen.
So you mean that if you bring them in with that
Yeah.
financial enticement,
Yeah.
then it means that anytime you need them, you have to keep
Exactly.
enticing them financially.
Exactly. That's the way human beings work. That's the way human beings, you know. Once you pay for something, once people make money from something,
have to keep paying.
you have to keep making money from it. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the collection of blood itself. How do you
Okay.
collect the blood? Where do you collect it?
All right.
What are the standards that you put in place? Do you have trained personnel to collect the blood? What equipment are you using to collect the blood? Then after collecting, how do you store it? How do you
Okay.
transport it to where it's going to be tested?
Okay.
So that leads us to the first element, the testing. WHO recommendation, minimum of 4 transfusion transmissible infections have to be tested. Every single unit has to be tested
That's a lot of work.
individually. Yes, it is a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
We're going to test for HIV 1 and 2, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and syphilis. Each unit has to be tested for that.
Okay.
Using a specific, there's a minimum testing technique that you can use for that. You can't just use any kind of laboratory technique for that.
Okay.
There's a minimum technique that you can use for that to meet accreditation levels.
Okay.
And it takes time because it's more thorough, it's more sensitive and specific.
Okay. All right.
But it takes longer also.
All right.
So after that, you're now going to get the blood. You're going to do the blood typing to know whether it's group A, group B, group O, and others. You know. Then after that, you're going to make products from it. You're going to put it into. You're going to separate it, like we say. 1 unit of bag donated can be used to save 3 lives.
Yes.
Because that 1 unit, we can get the plasma out, we can get the red blood cells out, and we can get the platelets out.
Okay.
So it's going to go through that process. There are minimum standards for all these processes. Then after that, it's taken to the blood bank laboratory,
All right.
where compatibility tests are going to be done for those, to be sure that it's compatible with the recipient's blood.
And also labeling
And all that stuff before you issue. And even after issuing, the blood management system is also there. How do you know your stock level? How do you manage your stock level? How do you know when to get more? More of what group do you need at a particular time?
Okay.
So all these things are minimum requirements for you to get accredited.
Okay.
So those are some of the technical requirements. And the thing about them is that about accreditation is that you're not just going to come and put everything on paper that we do this, we do that, we do it.
Yes.
You're going to be observed. They're going to see you do it. And if you're not doing it, the accreditors are going to know. Because we are talking about experts and experienced people. So everything has to be done the proper way. So these are the technical things. But for us to achieve that safe blood, because the goal of the mission of LSBTS is to ensure that every unit of blood is collected from voluntary blood donors.
Okay.
And every unit is tested for the TTIs that I've mentioned.
Yes.
And is transfused to appropriate people that need it.
Okay.
So for us to achieve that safe blood, we need a system that supports those technical activities.
All right.
And the quality system, the quality requirements ensures that all the systems that support it, and including the technical activities, are quality. They are the minimum quality that ensures that we're actually giving out safe blood to every Lagosian that needs blood transfusion.
Okay. All right, it's still Safe Blood Arena on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. If you have missed some episodes, you could just go to YouTube channel to do a bit of catch-up. This is episode 40 of the program so far. And a bit of update, we have those coming from 3rd Milan Bridge in Ward Warifako to Ogudu. We have high influx right now, and just slightly slow, and this is due to 2 reasons. I believe we have petrol queue, and we also have pedestrian crossing at Alapwere. Aside that, no other issue or impediment. And coming in from Island Junction, inward Radio Junction, we also have it aside traffic light alternation. And let's see. All right, Ojota axis, K to Ojota axis, we also have it good on the service lane and on the main carriageway. Remember, commercial bus activities at Ojota, where we have the buses occupied 1 lane and we have the other lane open to road users. So just take it easy when you are on the road. All right, so quickly, give us more requirements necessary to obtain the accreditation for a blood service. We'll talk about the quality,
the technical requirements.
Technical requirements. We'll talk about quality requirements. What about when it comes to training? The training would come under the technical.
Well, training
under staffing or manpower.
Well, we've not really addressed the quality requirements.
Okay, let's do that.
So I just want to go through the quality requirements. We have 12 elements.
All right.
Under the quality requirements.
Okay.
The first is the organization and the structure.
Okay.
What kind of organization do you have? What's the structure? What's the organogram like? Who reports to who?
Okay.
And things like that. It's very important because everything has to start from the top.
All right.
Quality is not like they say, it's not an accident. It is planned.
Okay.
So if you're going to give safe quality blood out to Lagosians, you're going to start from somewhere. Some people are going to envision it, they're going to plan it.
All right.
And they're going to put the processes in place to implement it.
Okay.
That is the organization and the structure.
All right.
The top management, the middle management, the lower people that get the job done, and everybody works together with the same vision to achieve the common goal of providing safe blood for Lagosians.
All right.
So that's very important. So the accreditation requires minimum levels or minimum they have minimum requirements for the organizational structure of the blood service.
All right.
Then we have the quality management system, which includes a quality department that ensures that quality is maintained in all the other departments, including the quality department itself.
Okay.
So we're talking about, we have to have a quality policy. What's the quality policy of this organization? I believe even traffic radio will probably have a quality policy. There must be a minimum quality level of presentation or programming that you guys have.
Of course.
So all these things are part of the quality management system. That is the second element under the quality requirements.
Okay.
The third element, because of time, I'll go to resources.
Okay.
What are the resources available to the blood service? Financial resources, human resources, materials, equipment. What kind of resources do you have? Do you have adequate resources, financial and others, to be able to provide safe and quality blood for the people? Then the fourth element, we'll look at documents and records.
All right.
Documents shows you how you do what you're supposed to do, and records is the recording or documentation of or the writing of what you've done. So, for example, under documents and records, you have standard operating procedures, you have policy statements, you have standard operating procedures. I believe there is standard operating procedure for presentations in traffic radio. I'm not just going to come here as a presenter and start presenting the way I feel like doing it. There has to be a standard for the way things operate. So those are some of the things that are required for accreditation. Your documents have to be You have to document all that you do.
All the processes.
And you have to do all that you document. You have to document all that you do.
And you do all that you document.
And you have to do all that you document.
All right.
So it's important for quality. Documentation is very important. Like we say in healthcare, what is not documented is not done. If you come to me and I say, I issued you a positive blood and there's no document on that for it, it is not done.
So documentation in essence allows for follow-up and everything that needs to be done.
Absolutely. It's absolutely important. It's one of the core and key components requirements of accreditation. If you're not documenting, you're not doing anything. So the fifth element is suppliers and service providers. What are your suppliers? What are you buying your antisera for? You're using antisera to do your blood grouping. You bring your blood bags that you bleed. What's the quality? Why are you buying? How did they store it? Where did they store it? Where did they get it from? Who makes it? What's the expiry? All these things are important. You don't just buy from anywhere. You don't just buy from anybody. You have to pre-qualify your suppliers, and you have to keep making sure that they are meeting up to minimum standards.
So that means for manufacturers of these materials that are used, especially in the storage of the blood components, they also have to there has to be some kind of organized synergy between them, the manufacturers, and the blood service to make sure that everything they manufacture is up to standard.
Absolutely.
So there's no issue of, it's a fault from the manufacturer. Everything has to be up to standard.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Like they say in computers, in IT world, garbage in, garbage out. The same thing here. If the blood bag has issues, the product is going to have issues.
Definitely.
So we want to make sure that all the things that need to be covered, all the boxes that need to be ticked to ensure that we get quality blood into the hands of legations that need it.
Yes.
We take them.
Okay.
So that includes making sure that we have the right suppliers
Okay.
and the right service providers.
Okay.
So the sixth element is incoming receipts, inspection, and testing.
Okay.
So despite pre-qualifying them, whenever the supplies are coming in, we have to inspect and test.
Okay.
And those are part of the quality control system that have to be put in place.
All right.
So we're not just going to say, well, you supplied 10 cartons of blood bags, for example, and then we'll just skip it and then start using it. We're going to test, we're going to inspect. Is it the specification that we gave that was
Okay.
supplied?
All right.
When is it expiring? Is it going to, does it have a long, life, bench life, and things like that? Those are important. And then all these things have to be documented.
Okay.
You're not just doing it and saying, well, I checked it last week, it's going to expire in 2026. No, it has to be documented.
All right.
Then we're moving on to equipment.
Okay.
You have to have the right equipment.
Yes.
For you to get the accreditation, you're not going to use the wrong equipment and say, well, we're managing it. When we do it this way, we can also get the same results. That kind of stuff.
So if for the equipment, it's the is it the accrediting body or WHO that gives the specification for the equipment that are supposed to be used?
Well, yes, the accreditation body gives the specification. Even though the WHO also have their own recommendations.
Okay. All right.
But the accreditation team and body, they have their specifications.
Okay.
So you have to meet up to those specifications. But virtually all the time, everything is together, as in they're basically almost the same thing.
Okay.
So they hardly find that WHO says you can do this, and then the others will say, no, you can't do that. No, it's very, very rare.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the accreditation bodies usually give the specifications.
All right.
Then safety and risk management. Is it a safe environment to work, to produce, to get things done?
All right.
What are the risks that are, that's activity engenders or brings about?
Okay.
And how do you mitigate it? What have you put in place? What's the risks management plan?
Okay.
All these things have to be in place for you to get accreditation, because you have to be sure that whatever is being produced doesn't harm anybody, including those that are producing them.
Okay. Okay.
Then we have internal and external audits.
Okay.
Like I said last week, this is part of the quality checks. We have to audit ourselves. You have to check yourself. You have to, and sometimes you get external people to audit the system. It's not just financial audit now. I'm not talking about financial audits. I'm talking about everything, the systemic audits. Do you have the right number of people? Do you have the right number of equipment? Do you have the right types of equipment? What type of tools do you use? And all those things.
Okay. Because of time, so we'll have to round off now so that we don't overshoot our time.
Okay.
So let's just round off with the requirements because in 1 minute.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, then we would also go to the 10th requirement is non-conformances.
Okay.
Whenever you have to go outside of the protocol,
Okay.
it has to be documented for whatever reason.
Okay.
And then you have to do a root cause analysis.
All right.
Why do you have to do this and do that?
All right.
And then how do we prevent it from happening? So it also
again.
has to be documented.
All right.
Because no system is without these challenges.
True.
So once in a while there may be issues. You have to state why you did it and how you prevent that in the future.
Okay.
And then one of these I said last week, continual improvements. I mentioned the feedback. And then monitoring and evaluation. And then the 12th one is process validation.
Okay.
How do you validate everything you do? How are you sure that your antisera is actually giving you the right blood group?
Okay.
So we use quality controls and quality assurance to ensure that
that is done.
That is done.
Okay, because of time, we have less than a minute to go. I want to say thank you very much, Taiwo, for being on the program today.
Thank you.
And well, Safe Blood Arena has been brought to you by Lagos Safe Blood Transfusion Services. You can get in touch with them on Facebook. It's Lagos Blood Transfusion. On Instagram, it's Lagos Safe Blood Transfusion. And on X, it's Lagos BTS. And telephone number is 0806 920 7914. Again, 0806 920 7914. Big thanks goes to everyone at LSBTS, including the Executive Secretary, Dr. Bodori Oshikomaya. My name is Dele Agadumo, and Safe Blood Arena comes your way Mondays at 4:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your day. Special thanks goes to Victor Terry and the Executive Producer, Tayo Akonli. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.